Oh man, that's how you draft. That's how you draft, Howie. And once again, the Eagles are legit Super Bowl contenders. Dallas still stinks. You might do it, King Dingbat here, and all I gotta say is this, man. Standing ovation for Howie Roseman. Golf clap for Howie Roseman, because Howie Roseman killed this draft, okay? This was his best draft ever as a GM, and I'm talking in a lot of multiple ways, and we're going to get into all of it in a second. But before I do that, there are two things I got to say. One, I have to thank everybody who joined us over the last 3 days. It was absolutely an amazing time streaming. We were just off the charts in terms of viewers, people there, and I just want to thank everybody who joined us. I just want to thank you so much for spending your time with us during the draft. It really means a lot to me, and want to thank you. I also want to thank Tone DeShields for coming on day 3 of the draft and spending time with us. It was great to catch up with him and have him on, so thank you to him as well. Now, the other thing before we get into the Eagles I got to talk about is this. Have you ever seen a guy that is dying to be an Eagle more than future Eagle Micah Parsons? I mean, literally, future Eagle Micah Parsons. I'm getting ready to watch the Sixers, and boom, who's on TV? Future Eagles Micah Parsons. He's taking pictures with Allen Iverson. He's walking around. This guy is dying to be an Eagle. His draft reaction when we took Quinyon Mitchell showed you how much he wants to be an Eagle. We do everything he likes. Dallas does everything he hates. And the Cowboys, I mean, there's mass delusion going on over there. Mark Holmes is doing his best to try to spin things around and spin the narrative. What team goes into a draft and depends on all these young rookies to basically help them win a Super Bowl? It doesn't happen to the level and to the degree in which the Cowboys are doing it. Their draft stunk. It stunk. And I'm going to prove it in later videos. But right now, I want to focus on the Eagles. But Mark Holmes working overtime because his team is quickly going down the gutter. Now, let's talk about some of the things with the Eagles. Here's the list of the Eagles and their picks, as we all know, but just in a very quick review. We're going to go, and there will be videos on some of these guys specifically that I want to point out later. But of course, you guys know first round, Quinyon Mitchell. Then we have the amazing trade to get the flying Frenchman, Cooper DeJean. I love Cooper DeJean being here. And let me tell you something. Those flying Frenchman shirts, we're doing pre-orders for those right now. You can get yours right now. You can pre-order yours right now, rather. A link is in the description. These things are being pre-ordered like at a rate I have never seen. It's absolutely insane. Everybody is excited about the flying Frenchman, and if you're excited about him and you got his back going into his first rookie year, then definitely get your Cooper DeJean, the flying Frenchman shirts. These things, man, the pre-orders have been crazy in the first 24 hours, but this was a great pick, no doubt about it. Then in the third round, this is where things kind of started to get weird for some Eagle fans. I think there was a lot of frustration that we hadn't taken a linebacker and that we were going to lose out on getting a linebacker because they took Jalix Hunt, who to me is a kid who may be very good. I think he's got to develop. Got a lot of physical attributes, and I'm perfectly okay with this pick. I thought it was a decent pick, especially once you see how the whole draft turns out. Then you got Will Shipley, the running back. The more I watch this kid, the more I like him. We're going to have separate videos on him and Hunt because there's a lot to say about a lot of these guys. In the 5th round, they took Aniyah Smith. Then, of course, they took our boy, Jeremiah Trotter. in round 5. Now here's the thing. There was a lot of frustration. I was frustrated. Eagle fans were frustrated. We were all frustrated by the way the Eagles were trading back. It was trading back, trading back, trading back. But in actuality, Howie Roseman knew exactly what he was doing. He was working the draft masterful. I mean, I think he destroyed this draft. And wait until I show you what he did in the future by making some of the moves he did. But, you know, he also knew that Jeremiah Trotter at some point would be on there. And if you guys haven't, the video showing him calling Jeremiah Trotter Jr. and telling him he's going to get drafted, the excitement Howie Roseman has on his face when he realized they just traded up, it's going to happen. The tears that Lurie was spewing talking to Jeremiah Trotter Jr. This was a very, very emotional pick. This was a pick that I just thought watching that video was absolutely amazing. I'm going to put the link in the description so you guys can go see it and find it yourselves if you haven't. But watching that, man, it just showed you that Jeremiah Trotter Jr. was born to be an Eagle. And I'm going to say this right now. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. will be starting this year. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is better than a lot of people think. I back up Jeremiah Trotter Jr. 100%. And I like Nakobe Dean. I have nothing against him, but Jeremiah Trotter's coming for that ass. He's coming for that job. He's got a lot to prove. He's got a chip on his shoulder. And watching the Eagles so emotional and him coming to Philly, he belongs there. And he is going to create his own legacy. And I'm all about Jeremiah Trotter Jr., okay? And matter of fact, if you want, you can get yourself the Axeman shirt and hat. We got Jeremiah Trotter stuff out now. Merch is great. Check out this shirt. AX2, you gotta love it. We got our second 2.0 version of the Axeman. Link is in the description. If you guys want to get the hat or the shirt, definitely check it out. We actually have 2 Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Merchandise stuff in the Philly Shakedown podcast store. So check it out. No doubt about it. But I love, love, love the Jeremiah Trotter Jr. pick. Also, you know, speaking of Ainias Smith, that kid's going to be a player. I think that kid's going to end up being our starting slot wide receiver. But like I said, we will get into that in much later videos. Then after Trotter Jr., the Eagles take Trevor Keegan, then Johnny Wilson. Johnny Wilson, 6'6", man. This guy is going to be a stud. And then offensive lineman Dylan McMahon. So that was who they drafted. Thought it was absolutely a great draft. And I think a lot of these guys are going to start. I truly believe when you look at this, because I said you have to come in out of this draft, I think you need at least 2 starters. Well, I'm going to tell you this. I believe Quinyon Mitchell is going to end up starting. I believe Cooper DeJean will end up starting in some capacity out there next to C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I believe Jeremiah Trotter Jr. will end up starting. And I believe Ainias Smith will end up being your starting slot wide receiver by the time it's all said and done. So I'm thinking 2 to 3 starters definitely right now. Right now, okay? So I love this draft. I thought this was Howie's best draft. And listen, a lot of it has to do with the way that they maneuvered in this draft. The Eagles go out there and they get themselves plenty of picks for next year. Here's what they did. They got themselves an extra 3rd. They got themselves a 4th, which they didn't have next year, and then they got themselves another 5th. So here's the Eagles' picks for 2025. You've got your own 1st, your own 2nd, you have 2 3rds, a 4th, 2 5ths, and 2 7ths. And that's where you are right now. Now, we won't be getting any compensatory picks or anything like that because of the amount of moves that we've already made. But, I mean, come on, man. Howie Roseman manipulated this draft and still came out and got a linebacker that we needed. And like I said, I think Trotter's going to start. If you know, for the people that were complaining when we took Hunt and Shipley, and they were all worried about linebacker. If you take Trotter, for most people, and you put him as that 3rd pick, so if it was Mitchell, DeJean, Trotter, and you knew those were your 3 picks. Every one of these other picks, nobody has a problem with. So this was an A++ draft for Howie Roseman and the Philadelphia Eagles. It just was. And this team is now, once again, a Super Bowl contender. This is going to be a transformational draft. It is, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I think that we set our foundation for the future on defense up in this draft. I think you have 3 players that are foundational pieces: Trotter Jr., DeJean, and Mitchell. That's how I truly feel about this, okay? I do. At the end of the day, the Eagles entered the 2024 draft with 8 picks. They added 9 players, 2 of them who were arguably top 20 prospects. They also added a 3rd, 4th, and 5th round picks in 2025. So I think all I could say, it was a hell of a draft for the Eagles, okay? And listen, once the draft is over, you know what happens. All these teams rush out. They go out to get undrafted free agents. And Howie Roseman said this year that they really liked their roster. They were only going to add, I believe, 7 undrafted free agents. And listen, that's exactly what they did. And to me, if you look at 2 of these undrafted free agents, 2 of them, I think make the team. I already think there's 2 that make the team. They've got some talented undrafted free agents, okay? And here's the list of the Eagles' undrafted rookie free agents. Kendall Milton, running back, Georgia. Andre Sam, safety. This is a total steal, in my opinion. I think he has a really, it's going to be hard for him to make this team because of the depth. But, man, I think this kid is a player. You're going to have to find a way to stash him. McCallan Castles. Gabe Hall, Baylor. This kid, 6'6", like 298. Let me tell you something. This kid's making a team. Good pass rusher, interior defensive lineman. I think that Gabe Hall is a steal. I think he should have been drafted, and I think he makes this team. He's going to make this team. And then you got Aneem Dankwa, and I'm sorry if I pronounce his name wrong. This dude's like 6'8", 330 pounds or something like that. This is a big dude. And when you get Stoutland, I believe this kid is going to make the team too. I believe Dankwa and Hall will make this team as undrafted free agents. And then you got Gatib Isaiah. I don't know how to say his name, so I'm sorry. But a lot of people thought that this kid should have gone in the draft from what I was reading. And then Kanan Williams, defensive back, he looks really good too. We will also dive into a lot of these guys. The draft picks and a lot of these undrafted free agents also, we will be talking about them in more detail later on this week, because there's just so much there. But I really love what this team did. I did. And oh, by the way, let me say this. Mike Garofalo is reporting this. Former Pound Bengals and Pound Giants wide receiver John Ross, who ran a 4.22 40-yard dash, was the combine record until Xavier Worthy broke it this year, will participate in the Pound Eagles rookie camp this week on a tryout basis, sources say. Ross had retired last year, but now is exploring a comeback. So they're bringing Ross in. I don't think he makes a team. I don't even know if he'll end up signing with this team. But I do think that bringing him in for a tryout, why not? Why not? Let him go. Let's go see if the Eagles offer him a contract. There will be quite a few guys that the Eagles will invite to rookie camp, and they might sign or not sign later on. But right now, with the list of what they have, I think it's absolutely phenomenal. And I think this Gabe Hall, I think he's a diamond in the rough, man. I think we got a true gem right there. So I'm very excited. Listen, overall, like I said, this is an A+ draft. This is going to end up being a historic draft. I truly believe it. There are drafts that you can go back for any team that goes on and wins a Super Bowl. And there are drafts where they get 2 or 3 players that end up being foundational pieces that you build a Super Bowl into. I think the Eagles got foundational pieces on defense here. Howie Roseman did exactly what I thought he would do, what I said he should do. Because here's the thing. On this channel, it's Future Eagles News Today. All right? It just is. That's the way it is. And I was saying, what the Eagles are going to do is they're going to sign Saquon Barkley, which they did, and then they're going to use that offense, have a really, really good offense. Then you go into the draft and you take young defensive players. You take young defensive players and you play them. You play them right away. When you look at this draft with Cooper DeJean, I think he starts as safety first year. They don't even list him as a cornerback. They list Quinion Mitchell as a corner. They don't list Cooper DeJean as a corner. They list him as a defensive back. They're going to use him all over the place. And I think one of the first places you'll see him is right next to C.J. Gardner-Johnson. But he's a transformational player because he's a weapon. And he has a chance. He has a chance to be really something special. He does. Because of his versatility, I think he could be a very, he could be a lot like a Malcolm Jenkins type player for the Eagles. If they develop him and use him the right way. Then you look at, Quinion Mitchell. I believe you got yourself a shutdown corner for the future. So to me, those are two starters right away that I think are going to be foundational pieces. In about 2-3 years, this is going to be the best secondary in football. Okay? Because we're not even talking about Ringo, Eli Ricks, all these other guys that the Eagles have on defense. Their secondary is stacked. I don't know how Bradbury's going to come back, but we'll cover that later. And then Jeremiah Trotter Jr. I'm telling you, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is going to be a starter by the end of the year. I think he's going to be a starter. I think he's going to come in. He's going to make an impact. And I think Trotter Jr. is a foundational piece. So I look at it and I think you got 3 legit foundational pieces on defense that are rookies right now. You let those guys play like the plan always was, and you let your offense carry you, go out, score a lot of points, and these guys will go out. They will make mistakes, but they will continue to learn and continue to play better. And when you get into November and you get into December, hopefully they start playing good. They don't run out of gas or hit a rookie wall, but they start playing. And then at some point, this is going to be a young defense that can hold their own. And look, they probably can hold their own now, but I let these young guys play because this is a great opportunity for them that, in 2 years while they're on a rookie contract still, to go out there and be studs. I think you got a hell of a draft. Hell of a draft by Howie Roseman. This is the A++ draft, and this will go down as one of the best drafts the Eagles have ever had. Just in my opinion. Quick reminder, Philly Shakedown Podcast. We will be reviewing the draft, talking more about it, and any new moves that happen. So look for that. Look for a lot of videos this week going over some of these guys and some specifics, which I think you guys definitely want to hear. With that said, cry, Cowboys, cry. Mark Holmes, your team stinks. Take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it, and I like it. Peace.
Dude, what the fuck?
The Cooper! The flying
Oh my
Frenchman!
god! Oh my god!
C'est bon!
C'est
bon! I'm dizzy. We did it. We did it. We transformed the Philadelphia Eagles secondary. We now have a secondary that is going to be good for years to come. Because one, we got Quinion Mitchell, but we also got the flying Frenchman, Cooper DeJean. That's right. The flying Frenchman, Cooper DeJean. C'est bon. Oh, here's another interception. That's right. Cooper DeJean is about to dominate the NFL. Can't wait to see him out on the field. And if you're like me and you thought this was a great move by the Eagles and you support this pick, then you definitely want to check out this shirt. The Cooper DeJean Flying Frenchman shirt. Look at this thing. You can see him in midair, flying through the air, transforming to an Eagle. That's right. Cooper DeJean is here. Link is in the description. Get your shirt now while you can, because Cooper DeJean is about to take the Eagles to another level. Denzel Washington out.